under 26,000 on hand at the Thunderdome in St. Petersburg, Florida for a second-round Southeast Region game between Duke, seeded number 2, and Michigan State, seeded number 7. This is Cherokee Parks at the line. He just made a basket, converted the free throw after a foul, and Duke has an early 1-point lead over Michigan State, whose basket was scored by Anthony Miller. We'll set the lineups for you for Michigan State. First of all, Eric Snow, Damon Bethea, number 23, Anthony Miller, Sean Respert, number 24, and Quentin Brooks, number 40. That's the starting 5, and they are still on the floor. There's the left-handed jumper by Bethea, gets the rebound, brings it back. Antonio Lang guarding Snow, who makes a strong move for the basket. 4-3 Michigan State.
One of the advantages that Michigan State has in this game is their backcourt is quicker than the Duke backcourt. And look for Michigan State to try to run on offense and try to get some penetration, and look for Duke to go inside to Cherokee Parks.
Parks has the 3 for Duke. And Duke is 1 of 9 from the field to open the game.
Grant Hill matched up against Sean Respert on the defensive end of the court for Duke. That should be a fascinating matchup.
Grant Hill is joined on the floor by Cherokee Parks, Antonio Lang, Jeff Capel, and Chris Collins. Those are the 10 who are playing right now. The shot clock at 6. That shot taken by Snow. The rebound, Grant Hill. To the left, here's Collins all the way.
Michigan State is a team that plays very well in transition, but the Duke Blue Devils aren't half bad in transition either. The Spartans just didn't get back effectively on defense on that trip down the court.
Duke comes in with a 24-5 season record, along with that number 2 seed. Underneath it goes to Quentin Brooks. Nice fake. And Parks is going to get called for the foul. Michigan State 20-11 with a number 7 seed. Now to graphically document the lineups. Bethea, Brooks, Miller, Snow, and Respert for Michigan State. Lang, Hill, Parks, Collins, and Capel for the Duke Blue Devils. Chris Wyszynski trying to enter the game now for Michigan State, but it'll be just a moment before he comes in to replace Quentin Brooks. The officials for this game, Danny Hall, Charlie Range, and Gary Markham. 6-5 Michigan State. Quentin Brooks gets a rest. Chris Wyszynski comes in. Time has been called.
More top mechanics in America choose One Motor Oil over any other brand to help keep their own cars running longer. Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Monday on The Late Show, Bill Cosby and singer Sheryl Crow.
On the next day, we reunite Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson.
It has been a tough Sunday for those whose predominant school color is blue. Kentucky lost here, North Carolina in the East. Duke favored in this game, though, Dan.
Well, we've already had one great basketball traditional school go down today in Kentucky, and the Duke Blue Devils, shooting only 2 of 10 to start the game, I think are going to have their hands full with Michigan State.
Here's Grant Hill. That rims out. And Cherokee Parks is going to get called for the foul over the back of Anthony Miller.
And that's the second foul against Cherokee Parks. Judd Heathcote in his 18th season as the Michigan State head coach has had them in the NCAA tournament 8 times. Of course, won the NCAA championship in the Magic Johnson age.
That, of course, was 1979 when they defeated Indiana State and a guy named Bird. Indiana wins today. There's the big upset of the day. Jim O'Brien's Boston College team knocks off North Carolina, the number 1 seed in the East. So it'll be Boston College and Indiana going down to Miami to play next Friday and Sunday. Offensive foul. That's the first foul on Sean Respert. It is the second foul on Michigan State.
Both of these teams noted for their defense, and we've seen that early in the basketball game as the defensive play has been better than the offensive play. We mentioned Grant Hill would be matched up against Respert in the Duke man-to-man, but Hill will not be alone. He's going to get a lot of help from his teammates, and you saw the help right there.
Jeff Capel guarded by Respert now. And it's Eric Snow on Grant Hill. 10 on the shot clock. Hill, shot blocked by Snow. Michigan State quickly up floor. Wyshynski off the glass, no. Didn't have a good angle. But the putback is good by Damon Bethea.
Michigan State is so effective in transition that Duke wants to minimize that transition as much as they can, and the best way to minimize transition baskets is to score, but Duke can't get it to go in the goal.
8-5 Michigan State lead. Here's Collins, who had 5 3-point baskets in the first round game, including 4 in the first half. Grant Hill. They've been cold from the field. They're not cold on defense. And Eric Snow fouls Grant Hill.
Well, how quickly did he get up and get that ball? Resper thinks he's going to throw it over the top, but Grant Hill rises up out of nowhere and grabs the basketball. Watch Hill, sets himself. I don't think he felt like Hill could get up that high and get the ball. And then Snow's going to commit a pretty good foul right here because Grant Hill had a dunk. Now he's going to have to make 2 from the free throw line.
Substitution now for Duke. Greg Newton, number 55, replaces Antonio Lang.
Now, Newton did not play on Friday night, and I think this is an indication of the fact that Cherokee Parks already has the 2 personal fouls.
Meek and Newton are in. Mike Krzyzewski, 14th season as the head coach at Duke.
And what a run through the NCAA tournament over the past 11 seasons has that man had.
Since '87, they've never been lower than a 3rd seed. They're 2nd this year. Last year, they were knocked off in this 2nd round. Game in Chicago, a kid named Kidd from California. It was a sensational game as Bobby Hurley wound up his career with the Duke Blue Devils. Quentin Brooks, that's for 3.
Quentin Brooks only scored 4 points in Friday night's game, so he starts out effectively on the offensive end. And I think Michigan State is going to need to get some offense from people other than Sean Resper.
Shot is short by Eric Meek. Wyshynski. Oh, nice move. Nice move. Oh!
That's a transition basket by Michigan State. They moved the ball so quickly into the offensive end. The Duke defense thought that Wyshynski was going to pass the ball, and he took it all the way to the basket. Got to stop the guy with the ball.
Collins comes out, guarded by Wyshynski. A 6-point Michigan State lead. We've played 7.5. Meek trying to get position underneath. Basket counts. 7-point lead, not 6.
Duke's defense is very effective in the half-court level, but here they don't get a chance to set the half-court defense. The spin move by Wyshynski, nobody stops him going to the basket. They felt as if he was going to pass, and he crossed everybody up.
Collins gives way to Marty Clark, so Chris Collins will get a rest, and Grant Hill shoots the free throw. (13-9), Michigan State on top. Jamie Fike has come in now for the Spartans, number 30. There's Brooks. Bethea cutting underneath. Stolen by Capel. At the other end, it's Capel going all the way. And he is fouled by Quentin Brooks.
Grant Hill has been very active on both ends of the court, and he picked up that ball. He knew Capel was down the court. A great job to collect it and get it down the court. Now that is another Jeff Capel, head coach at North Carolina A&T. His team gave Arkansas a heck of a run the other night.
They lost in the first round to the number 1 seeded Arkansas Razorbacks in the Midwest.
Now, you know that he's not going to show any of his recruits that picture of him sitting there with the Duke hat.
Guess what? We will. That's the family section. There's Doug Collins sitting right behind Jeff Capel. Capel completes the three-point play.
Looks like transition basketball is going to be a key to this game.
For a die-hard fan, watching the NCAA championship can be pretty stressful. Which is why we at Oldsmobile recommend that if you're going to watch for the next 3 weeks, you consider getting in.
The game you'll never forget. Will Evening Shade finally win one?
Look, if you're wearing that for luck, I'd rather lose.
Evening Shade, Monday.
Blue Devils have taken 16 shots to 8 for Michigan State, in part because 6 Michigan State turnovers so far.
And 5 Duke offensive rebounds. You cannot turn the ball over against the Duke Blue Devils, and you have to limit their second chance opportunities.
Here's Snow back in the lineup. The putback is up and good by Jamie Fike, number 30.
And I guarantee you that Eric Snow sees a freshman guard out there, and he just blew by him to the basket. And that's a place where Duke will be vulnerable this entire evening.
That shot by Marty Clark knocks it home for 3.
Marty Clark has given the Duke Blue Devils such a lift off the bench this season. And he does it again, knocking down the 3.
Underneath, here's Fike again. Finds Wyszynski. Garavaglia is in the lineup, number 21 for Michigan State. John Garavaglia. Damon Bethea, Snow, Fike, and Wyszynski. Nice pass. Travel.
Now that has to be a matter of some concern for Mike Krzyzewski. That's 2 trips in a row down the court where Judd Heathcote's crew has been able to beat the perimeter defense and get an easy shot inside. For Duke, they got a break because Fike walked with the basketball, but the perimeter defense has to be better than that for the Duke Blue Devils.
Already 7 Michigan State turnovers doesn't augur well. Grant Hill. Capel. Offensive foul on Jeff Capel. That's his first.
We saw the advantage in quickness by Eric Snow work to the Spartans' advantage on the offensive end of the court. Now we see it work to Michigan State's advantage on the defensive end of the court.
Cherokee Parks playing with 2 fouls back on the court. He's joined by Antonio Lang, Grant Hill, Marty Clark, and Chris Collins.
This is a point in the basketball game where Duke might like to make a little offensive run because Respert is out, but the other guy's picking him up. That's a 2.
That's Wyszynski, and Collins is not in the game. He's on the bench. There's Marty Clark and Capel in the backcourt, and Grant Hill as well. Nearing the midway point of the first half. Tony Lang.
That's excellent interior defense by Michigan State.
Parks, 2. Michigan State will force the issue. Here's Snow, tied at 17. 8 turnovers. Hill, Capel, nice pass. Lang for 2.
Michigan State has done a solid job in its half-court defense, but with all those turnovers, they're having a difficult time getting the half-court defense set, Vern.
And as a result, Duke has a 2-point edge at 19-17. Wyszynski.
And he's going to commit the charge. So that's another turnover by Michigan State. Wyszynski just forcing the issue. Not very good movement on offense by the Spartans. A little too much dribbling by Wyszynski.
9 Michigan State turnovers. 3 for Duke. And we're only midway through the first half of play. A little past the midway point.
You saw that expression on the face of Judd Heathcote. A coach is always pained by 9 turnovers so early.
Capel for Hill. Double down on Grant, who tries the mid-air adjustment and again goes to the free throw line.
Anthony Pig Miller picks up the personal foul. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want that. Now, he picked up the foul coming over to help out. I think the Michigan State defense needs to try to keep Grant Hill on the perimeter so Miller doesn't risk those personal fouls. Hill misses another one.
Grant Hill 2 of 4 in the women's NCAA tournament. UConn beats Auburn. North Carolina women's team won today. That's what I was trying to say. It's late on a Sunday afternoon. Purdue, the top seed, defeats Washington 86-59, a final in the West. And Alabama knocks off Iowa 84-78.
And there's another turnover by Michigan State. And that's really been the story of the game. Michigan State has been very effective down on the defensive end of the court. Duke not shooting the ball very well, but when you get a lot of opportunities, you don't necessarily have to shoot a high percentage.
This is a Michigan State team that averages 16 turnovers a game, and already they're at 10. 8:40 remaining first half of play. Winner of this game gets Marquette next Thursday night in Knoxville, Tennessee. Grant Hill's shot, no good. Caravaggio chases it down, and it will be Duke's ball.
Grant Hill did a tremendous job coming back in from out of bounds, getting his feet on the floor, hitting the basketball, and bouncing it off Caravaggio down inside. Watch Grant Hill. He's out of bounds, steps back in, hits the ball. There's nothing that this young man cannot do on a basketball court.
Capel. Nope. Lang's going to get called for the foul.
Now the foul.
Elbow.
It's going to be on Caravaggio for hanging on to Antonio Lang, I believe, Vern.
Ah. It is indeed.
Duke has not shot the ball well, but their defense has forced the turnovers, and they have gotten to the offensive boards, and they do it again right there, creating additional opportunities for themselves, and the fouls are beginning to pile up for Michigan State. That's 8.
Six of 8 from the free throw line. Duke in the tournament for the 11th consecutive year. In the first game, 8 blocks and a 42-35 rebound advantage, and they've got the senior experience in Marty Clark, Grant Hill, and this man, Antonio Lang. Respert, another turnover. That's 11 turnovers. Capel back to Grant Hill for 3. Judd Heathcote wants a timeout.
And the players don't see him. Wyshynski does now. Calls the timeout.
Michigan State had a 7-point lead. They now trail by that same amount.
NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
When the Spartans won the national title in '79, a couple of key players, Kelser and Johnson, they had Scott Skiles in the mid-'80s, Steve Smith in the late 80s, and now Sean Respert. And look at the stats on him.
Well, to be a go-to guy, your teammates have to go to you. One of the stories of this game is that Sean Respert, in over 12 minutes of action, has not attempted a field goal yet.
Grant Hill is shadowing him.
Grant Hill's shadowing him, but Tony Lang had him the last couple of trips down the court. Duke is putting a lot of different people on. Now Lang is going to chase him.
Get some help from Collins. Wyshynski with the shot clock at 2. And Cherokee Parks battles for the rebound.
So the Duke defense, Vern, is not only forcing turnovers, but they have taken the best offensive player for Michigan State right out of the game.
It's been a 12-2 Duke run in the last 4 minutes. Wyshynski guarding Collins. Collins off the mark.
Respert is a guy who is having to work very hard to get any open opportunities. You can see Tony Lang right up. Now Lang is 6'8", doesn't go for the ball fake, so Respert can't shoot it because Lang would have blocked the shot. But Lang and Collins and Grant Hill all shadowed Respert that time down the court.
That's going to be Grant Hill. Georgetown with an early lead over Arkansas. And the big upset of the day, BC's win over North Carolina. We had an upset here as Marquette knocked off Kentucky by 12. And Marquette takes on the winner of this game. Tulsa over Oklahoma State. They go down to the Midwest Regional in Dallas.
This was a tournament that prior to today had been most noted for its lack of upsets. There had been a couple, but today the big guys are falling on hard times.
Monster programs have fallen with a thud. Steal by Hill. Respert lost it.
That's just good defensive pressure by Grant Hill. Respert misdribbled the basketball.
26-17, lead at 9. And 12 Michigan State turnovers. Miller, Parks playing with 2 fouls. It's going to be on Capel.
You don't always have to take the ball away on defense. Sometimes just your presence defensively creates a situation where you can pick up a ball that's bouncing around, and then if you're Grant Hill, you can do that with it. If you're somebody else, you can't.
I'm decidedly somebody else. Here's Big Miller at the line. Marty Clark comes in for Jeff Capel. And Anthony Miller goes to the line.
Miller has to be a threat on the interior, but Michigan State hasn't been able to get the ball in there.
That cuts the lead to 26-19 with 5:58 to go, first half of play. Grant Hill, Tony Lang, Chris Collins, Cherokee Parks, Marty Clark. The 5 on the floor for the Duke Blue Devils. Underneath, Grant Hill over the back of Anthony Miller. That's his first foul and the 5th team foul. Coming up Thursday night, regional semifinals from Knoxville. Kansas takes on Purdue in the Southeast Regional. And out west, it'll be Syracuse against Missouri. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock. Respert traveled. That's 4 turnovers on Sean Respert, and he still has not attempted a shot.
We have 5 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first half, Vern, and a guy who averages 25 points a game has not attempted a shot yet.
Gives new meaning to the term stifled. 5:20.
Actually, with the way this ball game has gone, Michigan State has to consider themselves fortunate to only be down by 7 because Duke has shut off everything that Michigan State has tried to do.
Lang, nope. Clark gets it back to Grant Hill. Cherokee Parks. Traveling. That's 14 turnovers. 14.
Marty Clark is just going to step in right here. Now, once this guy catches the ball, Marty Clark doesn't have to give him any room at all. And Eric Snow, in attempting to avoid the charge, walks with the basketball.
Sean Respert is going to get a rest. Still yet to attempt a shot.
It's been a very difficult first half for Sean Respert. But again, I'll make the point that the Duke Blue Devils are only up by 9 points, excuse me, in this basketball game. Having totally shut off the Michigan State fast break offense and Sean Respert.
Grant Hill travels.
Duke has not shot the ball very well, and that's why the basketball game is close. I think, however, in this last 4 minutes and 34 seconds of the first half, Michigan State has to get something going on the offensive end, because while they can be fortunate that they're only down 9 right at the moment, Duke could very easily explode and put them in a 20-point hole unless they get something going.
Duke is 10 of 26, just to emphasize Dan's point. They've shot it at a 39% clip. Damon Bethea, Brooks, and a whistle foul called away from the ball. Eric Meek had come back in the lineup, number 52, and I think he got tapped.
It's the 5th personal foul on Duke, or the 6th, excuse me, so there'll be no shots.
Basket good by Quentin Brooks. That's for 2. And it's 28-21. Duke on top with 4:18 remaining first half.
Michigan actually shooting the ball pretty well, Vern. 7 of 13. Their problem is they haven't been able to get very many shots.
Parks.
The foul on Quentin Brooks is second, Michigan State's 9th.
Clark does a nice job penetrating inside the defense. Miller does not block out Cherokee Parks. He lets Parks get right to the basket. Then Parks is fouled as he goes up there. Brooks gets him. Parks sort of hanging on there with emphasis. I don't know that he's supposed to do that.
I think he gave a Johnny Weissmuller cry there. Not sure. Thought that iron was a vine. Parks gets the three-point play. Substitution now. Antonio Lang. They're going to rest Cherokee Parks with those two fouls. 4:10 to go before halftime.
Mike Krzyzewski was concerned when we spoke to him on Thursday about his team's emotional preparedness, whether or not they were emotionally tired. They don't look emotionally tired this afternoon.
Up by 10 with just under 4 minutes to go first half. Winner of this game gets Marquette. The Warriors defeated Kentucky here earlier this afternoon, and that game will be played Thursday night in Knoxville, Tennessee. Miller.
He's going to get fouled. I think Grant Hill's going to get called for the foul. Yes. That's a couple of fouls now on Grant Hill. That's 2.
The foul on Grant Hill is second.
Snow monopolizes the basketball, forces the Duke help to come. There's 3 guys out there trying to defend him, and Miller doing a great job turning to the basketball. Grant Hill gets that arm down there with the slap, and that's why he's called for the foul.
Anthony Miller, the three-point.
Jeff Capel is in. Anthony Miller has a chance for a three-point play. He's 2 of 2 from the line so far. Nope. Lang, hell ball. Oh, no. No hell ball. Foul. And the foul is called on Eric Snow.
Held arm.
Foul on Eric Snow, his second.
One of the things that's really a lost art is sometimes the ability to block out on the free throw, and Antonio Lang does a great job blocking out Bethea. Snow with his quickness gets in there. You can see him pleading his case with the official. He's trying to trade the official the ball for the call.
Antonio Lang, his mom and dad are here. That's Ural Lang, Antonio's father.
Somebody asked Mike Krzyzewski a question yesterday about what about having parents like Doug Collins and going to get a lane violation inside. Miller in there too soon.
2 shots.
Oh, 2-shot foul.
10th team foul.
Oh, okay. Whether or not that put any pressure on him with good athletes like that. And he said no, he thought Tony Lang's father was probably the worst, because Tony Lang's father, to quote Mike Krzyzewski, was a legend in his own mind playing on the playgrounds of Mobile.
Respert. That is his first shot of the day, and it wasn't a very good one.
And Antonio Lang agreed with his coach.
31-23. 3.5 to go first half. Lang kicks it out to Marty Clark.
Lang looking for somebody to cut to the basket. Nobody did, so Duke sets the offense again.
10 on the shot clock. Foul. It's on Eric Meek. That's his second, and that is the 8th team foul.
Marty Clark is going to get the ball inside to Antonio Lang. Now the problem is Quentin Brooks got a hand in there, slapped the ball away as the kids go after one another. Meek attempts the tackle, doesn't get it, but does get the foul. These are important opportunities here for Brooks. Michigan State is only down 8 with all the turnovers and all the struggles that they've had.
Well, think of it. They've had 14 turnovers, and their leading scorer has attempted 1 shot. Now Quentin Brooks gets the first. Judd Heathcote. This is a Michigan State team that is being coached by Heathcote for the 18th year. National champions in '79. And his successor, whenever the succession is made, has already been named. That's Tom Izzo. Judd Heathcote, 66 years of age on the Right, that's Tom Izzo, who's been an assistant for 11 years. And when Judd decides to retire, Tom Izzo has been designated as the new head coach at Michigan State. There was some pressure applied to Judd Heathcote in the middle of this season when the Spartans lost 4 in a row to open the month of February. But then they came back and won 5 in a row, and here they are in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
They dropped a really tough home court decision, their 4th loss in a row to Purdue. But then, as you say, Vern, they rattled off those 5 in a row and got themselves in the NCAA tournament. Then a real fine basketball game against Seton Hall on Friday.
Collins misses. Duke not shooting well. Here's Westbrook. Capel. Good pass. Oh, dandy.
Despite the 14 turnovers, Michigan State trails in the basketball game by only 4. Duke shooting 11 of 29 in the basketball game. Westbrook hasn't been able to get going scoring-wise, but makes a great pass. Bethea sort of caught that ball right on his nose, but he caught it and converted it.
Hill and Parks both playing with 2 fouls here in the final 2.5 of the first half. Grant Hill for 2. Michigan State forces the issue. Eric Snow all the way, and a foul is called on Jeff Capel. That's going to be 3 fouls on Jeff Capel.
And I think this is an indication about how concerned Mike Krzyzewski is about this basketball game, because Snow doing a great job getting the ball down the court, forcing the foul from Capel. Parks comes in, but that blocked shot doesn't count because the foul was called. But Capel now with 3 fouls, and he's got Cherokee, Parks, and Grant Hill in the game with 2 fouls. And that's an indication of how seriously he takes this problem, because normally he wouldn't have those guys in the game risking the 3rd personal foul. But Michigan State needs to be dealt with right now.
Eric Snow misses both.
And Snow very frustrated with himself as he heads back up the basketball court. He's not a very good free throw shooter.
41% for the year. Final 2 minutes, first half. Southeast Region second round game. 25,830 are watching here at this beautiful Thunderdome in St. Petersburg, Florida. Parks short with the shot. Ball's in the floor. Snow has it. 3 on 2. Snow takes it all the way and is fouled by Chris Collins.
I think you're seeing the Michigan State backcourt quickness really creating some problems for Duke. The fouls continue to pile up for the Blue Devils. Collins just not fast enough to stay with him. Collins was falling down as Snow made that move. What a great crossover dribble right here. Collins is falling down before he even makes contact with Snow. Snow just too fast for him.
Eric Snow, 41%. And he'll have one more. Jamie Fike checks in now from Michigan State. And Anthony Miller will get a rest. 1 for 4 for Snow in the ballgame now from the free throw line. And the lead is only 5. And having had that blizzard of turnovers in the first 15 minutes of the game, Michigan State has not turned it over in the last couple of minutes. Here's Grant Hill. Oh, how pretty is that?
That's just a dandy move.
Oh, boy.
Westbrook just can't get a shot off. Grant Hill is all over it.
Brooks. And Eric Quentin Brooks is going to shoot. Westbrook, 0 points on 1 field goal attempt so far. Keep in mind now, he leads Michigan State in scoring with an average of 24. The MSU turnovers at 14-6, but Duke hasn't shot the ball well so far, and that's allowed Michigan State to stay within reach so far.
Michigan State's defense has really kept them in the basketball game, but they've got to start taking advantage of some opportunities down on the offensive end, and Brooks does convert that one. There you get a look at Westbrook. He's going to see Grant Hill in his sleep.
Another missed field goal. Missed free throw. Cherokee Park has it. 1 minute to go in the first half. Hill, Lang, and Brooks.
Lang is going to get called for the foul, and it looks like Brooks is going to go down and have the opportunity to shoot two on the other end. The Duke struggles from the field continue.
Here's the conference update so far. Big Ten still has 4 teams alive, the Big East as well. ACC, tough day today. The SEC 2 in, 2 out. Great Midwest had 4 to begin. They've got Marquette in the Sweet 16. Nine of 14 as a team from the free throw line so far from Michigan State. Brooks is 6 of 7. 7 of 8. The lead is 4.
And Michigan State has to feel pretty good about this.
Final 45 seconds of the first half. Duke clings to a 4-point edge. They do so despite the fact that Michigan State has turned it over 14 times and Sean Respert hasn't scored yet. Cherokee Parks and Grant Hill both with 2 fouls each. That ball is on the line. Michigan State has it.
Michigan State's zone defense really bothered the Duke Blue Devils, and one of the things that Duke is not doing very effectively is finding open guys on the inside. Antonio Lang was all alone, jumping up and down looking for the basketball. The backcourt didn't find him.
Joey Beard replaces Grant Hill for the final 30 seconds. Duke up by 4. Here's Sean Respert, leading scorer for the Michigan State Spartans. 1 field goal attempt thus far in the game, and he didn't make that one. And it's been Grant Hill's defense that's denied him, and there's another turnover, Michigan State. That's 15, and 5 of them accountable by Sean Respert.
Now Grant Hill's coming back in the ball game for the last 7.4 seconds. Mike Krzyzewski took him out because he didn't want him to pick up his 3rd foul on defense, and he feels sufficiently comfortable that Grant Hill won't pick up the 3rd foul on offense.
Collins. The putback, no. Fike.
It's the end of the first half.
Well, Michigan State, just by turning it over 15 times, still within reach. They trail Duke by 4 at the half.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the 2nd round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by MasterCard, GTE, and by Michelin. Sponsored by Pennzoil, the motor oil you can rely on for performance, protection, and quality.
All right, welcome to the Pennzoil at the half. 2 games at halftime right now. Let's take a look at those 2 scores. First off, it's Arkansas by 4 over Georgetown, 43-39. Meanwhile, Grant Hill has 14, and Duke leads by 4 at the intermission. 1 game in action. That's Louisville and Minnesota. And Louisville has gone almost 5 minutes without scoring. Minnesota now in front, 18-14. And let's go out to Sacramento and join Dave Sims with Larry Farmer.
10:40 to go in our ball game here. Dave Sims, Larry Farmer with you. West Region at Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. And right now the Minnesota Golden Gophers have an 18-14 lead. Minnesota on a 7-0 run, their biggest lead of the afternoon. Minor baseline. Knocked out of bounds. No, it was saved. Rozier, a bad shot. Rozier now straight on in traffic.
Rozier really taking exception to the fact that Ryan Wolf reached in and grabbed the ball. He got bumped initially. They see him setting up. Does a great job of taking that offensive rebound. Right there, he thought he got fouled. It was contact on the play. He stays with it, and that's where he takes exception. If looks could kill, he mentioned in the paper today that he really did not like playing against small guys because they always played around his knees and waist level.
The foul was against number 53, Ziggy. What a pain. Biggest lead for Minnesota this afternoon.
Randy Carter with the nice interior pass, feeling that defensive pressure was coming across on the baseline to help on his drop step. Alert.
7 minutes without scoring. And also at halftime, by the way, Georgetown and Arkansas, it's 43-39 Razorbacks in that ball game. There was an altercation there, but no fight called. 2 players were thrown out, but will not have lingering effects until the next game. 43-39 Razorbacks. Duke leads by 4. Thanks for joining us on the Pennzoil at the half.
Pennzoil at the half was sponsored by Pennzoil, the motor oil you can rely on for performance, protection, and quality.
What do you get when you cross a high quality?
At college meant I didn't have to answer to anybody anymore. I could stay out all night, tailgate before a game, go to a bar after. One Saturday, we even took our victory celebration on the road. I drove straight into a drunk driving conviction, which means that when I get to this question about ever being convicted of a crime, I have to answer yes.
Thunderdome in St. Petersburg, Florida, the second-seeded Duke Blue Devils have a 4-point cushion over Michigan State. Back with the second half after these messages. Halftime at the Thunderdome, Duke up 35-31 over the Michigan State Spartans. And on fast break points, Duke has 10 to Michigan State's 2.
It's been a very odd first half. The Duke defense has them in the lead, and particularly with the steals. Michigan State with 15 turnovers, and Duke has been able to convert them very effectively into points, and it's a good thing because Duke has not shot the ball very well from the perimeter. When they've been able to get it and get out on the break, they've been able to score, but when this Michigan State has not turned it over and Duke can't get the fast break going, Duke has struggled for points.
Well, if you want to talk about an individual in the first half, I think you've got to focus on Grant Hill, at both ends of the board. The defensive job he's done on Respert has been amazing.
Sean Respert averages almost 25 points a game, second leading scorer in the Big Ten. He has attempted 1 shot in this basketball game. He comes in with 0 points. Duke with twice as many scoring opportunities, but they can't convert him. You see Michigan State with the turnovers, and there are the numbers we were talking about with Hill and Respert, and Duke starts out the second half missing again.
Damon Bethea tries to save it and can't.
Judd Heathcote has to feel pretty good about his chances in the second half when you got to figure he's going to get more from Respert than he got in the first half.
Underneath to Capel. And Jeff Capel will shoot 2 free throws.
Snow is going to pick up the foul, and the other interesting statistical anomaly, if you will, of the first half is the fact that the Duke Blue Devils really were called for a lot of fouls. Michigan shot 15 free throws in the first half.
Capel at the line, shooting 2. Eric Snow picks up his 3rd.
Duke now 7 of 13 from the free throw line, so the Blue Devils not shooting the ball very well either from the field or from the line.
This is a team that is a 76% free throw shooting team. 1 of 2. 36-31, Duke and Michigan State. Georgetown, Minnesota over Louisville by 13 points. In the first half of that game. Miller, good job.
Duke was trying to get help inside, but Miller just with a nice strong play.
Lead is 3, 36-33. Tony Lang.
Oh, Sparks steals the inbound pass and scores. You know, when you inbound the ball, you don't want to throw it to the biggest guy with the white shirt on out there on the court.
Not at all.
You want to throw it to one of those guys in the green shirts.
Bethea, here's Respert. And Capel guards him now in the zone.
As Respert runs off screens, Duke is just switching all the screens. Just about everybody on the court has guarded Respert at one point or another today.
And Another turnover. That's 17. 2-on-1. Snow back. Timeout, Michigan State.
Timeout, Michigan State, 8 seconds.
Result of Michigan State turnovers.
Michigan State has now turned it over 17 times. Here's Respert. Dishes to Miller. Anthony Miller with 10 points now. Joins Brooks in double figures for Michigan State.
That was a great play by Sean Respert, a guy who scores a lot of points. Grant Hill misses that one, but Respert, a guy who scores a lot of points, isn't forcing anything. He doesn't have the shot. He's passing it off. He's got that one.
And it's short. That's only his second field goal attempt of the day.
And that's his first open shot of the day.
That's
the other
right.
one was pretty well defended.
Parks after the pass from Grant Hill. At the other end, Quentin Brooks gets two, and he'll shoot a free throw.
Cherokee Parks is going to pick up the personal foul. Michigan State really gets the ball quickly into the offensive end. They've got it figured out. They don't want to play against that set Duke defense. That's a great aggressive pass by Snow.
Mike Krzyzewski hasn't made the move for Parks yet. So Parks stays in with three. Brooks at the line. He's got 15 points.
I don't think that Mike Krzyzewski can afford to take Cherokee Parks out of this basketball game at this moment. Duke has scored 4 baskets in the second half, 2 dunks after turnovers, and 2 real effective inside plays, one by Parks, one by Lang. You need Parks on the floor.
Capel looks inside for Lang. Here's Grant Hill.
He looked inside, Vern, but he missed him. Lang was open.
Eric Snow, good defensive job on Grant Hill. Bethea went for the steal, and the ball is knocked away by Miller. Here comes Michigan State in transition. Respert off the glass. That is his first basket. His first basket.
And typically, of the way this game has gone, it's after a turnover. Michigan's defense.
44-40. Parks, another 2.
And that's why Parks has to be in the basketball game. He can be a real offensive factor. And it appears that Duke discussed that they wanted to go down inside in the second half.
Cherokee Parks with 16 points now. Marty Clark getting ready to come into the ball game for Duke. Respert, Miller. Travel.
Miller spending too much time trying to pivot around Jeff Capel. He just needed to rise up and shoot the ball. Parks tries to draw the charge. All Miller has to do is turn to the basket, but he moved both feet about 3 or 4 times. That was one dance step, and then you saw Judd Heathcote with the other dance.
Yes, foxtrot. Clark is in, Collins is out for the Blue Devils. The number 2 seed tried to advance to Knoxville. Grant Hill takes the jumper. Short, gets the roll. Oh boy, friendly iron.
Parks does it again!
Misses the shot. Wow.
They got to stop throwing him the ball.
Respert. Oh, that's for 2, but it's a big couple. 48-42. Duke leads by 6. Hill and Lang, Marty Clark, Jeff Capel, and Cherokee Parks for the Blue Devils. Parks, he's got 18.
And he winds up in the Duke bench, and Mike Krzyzewski wants to know why that wasn't a foul.
Quentin Brooks. Miller wasn't ready for it. That is the 20th turnover for Michigan State. Their season high is 23. That was in a game against Illinois. They're only 3 away from matching it.
They call Cherokee Parks the chief, and he has been the big chief in the second half. They've gotten the ball down inside to him effectively, and he's got that turnaround jump shot working. Zone defense now for Michigan.
back to Capel. Shot clock at 10. Hill is stripped. And the ball is tipped by Michigan State. It'll be Dukes to inbound with 8 seconds still on the shot clock.
Ball went off the leg of Sean Respert.
Foul is called on Marty Clark.
Foul on Marty Clark of Duke, his second, the team's second in the half.
14:22 remaining. Duke had a 4-point lead at the half, 35-31. They're up by 8 right now. And Antonio Lang is going to get a rest for the Blue Devils. Here's Eric Snow and Sean Respert. Respert, averaging 24 points per game, has been limited to 1 field goal today, and in large part it's been the defensive work of number 33 Grant Hill for the Blue Devils.
You can see, though, Hill's getting a lot of help. A switch by Clark and then a switch back by Hill.
Eric Snow. It's spring break, can you tell?
Well, there was certainly some spring in that play by Eric Snow. He got down inside, and watch him elevate. There's the fake. There's that quickness on the perimeter, and he just keeps going up and up and up until he's fouled by Eric Meek.
Now Jamie Fike comes in for Michigan State. Anthony Miller's going to get a rest, and Cherokee Parks goes out. Eric Meek comes in. And Eric Snow at the line. 2 of 5 from the free throw line now for Eric Snow. 50-45. The lead is 5 for Duke.
It'll be interesting to see what Duke does on this offensive possession with Cherokee Parks out of the ball game.
There's a rare Duke turnover.
They were trying to go inside against the Michigan State zone. That was not a good pass.
Snow and Brooks, along with Damon Bethea, number 23. Respert, who's guarded now by Collins.
Who gladly gives him up to Grant Hill.
Exactly.
You take him, Grant. Clark will switch out on him.
They kick it out to Bethea for 3, short. Saved by Snow. Good job. But it's out of bounds off Bethea. And that is 20 turnovers. Beg your pardon. We were a little early a moment ago.
These teams are really scrapping against one another, and you can see it clearly here. Snow gets the ball and does a nice job turning to face the court as he's falling out of bounds and finds one of his teammates.
Marty Clark, Capel, Grant Hill, Collins, and Lang.
Zone defense. Try to match up. Got to find this guy.
Boy, Hill blows by Wyshynski in a hurry, but he's a little too muscular with the shot. Capel, good jump step, and he's got the shot.
Look how quickly Michigan State's getting the ball down the court.
Respert. Hill goes flying. Nice feed inside to Brooks. He's got 17.
Another excellent example of Sean Respert's ability to not force the shot. 2 Duke guys jumped at him, and he made a nice pass.
Arkansas leading by 9, the number 1 seed in the Midwest. Minnesota still over Louisville by 12 at the half now. That basket goes for Grant Hill.
Foul Sean Respert is second, Michigan State second.
Michigan State's zone defense not reacting very well. Too many guys down in the corner. Grant Hill left alone, and Respert gets him on the arm as the ball goes in the basket. This is a great step to the basket. You don't see a lot of guys in college basketball who can shoot off the one dribble. There's guys who can take it to the basket and stand still and shoot the three-point jump shot. But that ability to take that first step and first dribble and then rise up and shoot the basketball is a skill that will serve Grant Hill well in his basketball future.
Basket is good. Substitution now. Anthony Miller's coming back in. Well, when Grant Hill signs next year for 180 million guaranteed or whatever it is. He's going to buy his dad a new baseball cap.
Well, we hope so. If not, we'll have to take up a collection.
I think I haven't talked to Calvin and Janet Hill about that, but that must be a lucky baseball cap. 12 minutes and 5 seconds to go. Wyshynski, yes! That's for 3.
With as much attention as Duke is devoting to Sean Resberg with their double teaming and switching, nice job by Michigan to find the open guy.
Lead is 5 for the Blue Devils of Duke. Collins for 3. That won't go. And a foul is called on Antoni. Oh.
Looks like if they got Fike.
Jamie Fike.
Jamie Fike is first, Michigan State's third. There's timeout on the floor.
11 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in regulation play. Duke up by 5.
Says it's safe and needs no labeling. So how do you tell treated from untreated? Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
Calvin and Janet Hill watching their only son, Grant, their only child, Grant, perform his magic on the court. Thus far, 20 turnovers for Michigan State. But Michigan State, 80% shooting in this half, and they trail by only 5.
Duke shooting 64% in the second half. So the team's lighting it up.
Cherokee Park's back on the court now. He's got the ball. Guarded by Anthony Miller. Capel and Lang, Collins and Hill for Duke. Capel got it.
Capel's made some big baskets in the second half. One of the reasons that Michigan State is shooting the ball so well in the second half, the Duke defense is spending so much time guarding Sean Resberg, and Resberg is making such good decisions with the basketball. Michigan State's getting some easy opportunities.
Arkansas has increased its lead. They're still at halftime in Sacramento. Minnesota trying to knock off Louisville and earn a right to go to Los Angeles. That's Resberg. And the follow is good, up and in by Jamie Fike. 57-52.
The defense focusing on Resberg. Didn't block out Jamie Fike. Parks has been extremely effective down on the blocks in the second half. 10 on the shot clock.
Hill for 3. Almost taken off the rim by Miller, and Krzyzewski and the Duke bench certainly thought so. Resberg. Now the switch, and Tony Lang's got him. Resberg almost lost it.
Michigan State spreads the floor, trying to eliminate the help. That's the first bad decision that young man's made today, but the floor was spread. That was the called play. What a catch!
What a shot. (59-52), 9:40 remaining. Duke fans appreciated that last sequence of play.
Lang just switches right out on Resberg. Snow can't get him the ball, but Wyshynski again is open.
Miller has to work really hard, and he's still battling. Fike. Fike wasn't ready. Collins has it.
Turnovers just killing Michigan State.
21 turnovers for the Spartans. And we have 9 minutes remaining.
Michigan State back to the zone.
Hill, 2 more. 21 points for Grant Hill. Wyshynski. Foul by Capel. That's 4 fouls on Capel.
Capel just not able to get set up on defense. Michigan State just really runs the ball up the court quickly once again. Jeff Capel, the father of Jeff Capel. And that Jeff Capel is the head coach at North Carolina A&T. That team was also in the NCAA tournament. They lost an opening round game to Arkansas.
Yeah, the Razorbacks continue to lead over Georgetown. That game being played in Oklahoma City this afternoon. Tulsa, a winner over Oklahoma State there earlier. They go down to Dallas next week to join Michigan and Maryland. How about that Maryland team? Knocked off UMass yesterday.
A Maryland team that starts 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores.
Yeah, but one of the freshmen is named Smith.
Well, that's right. And he's a heck of a freshman, but their first couple of guys off the bench are also freshmen and sophomores. So a very young Maryland team and a very dangerous Maryland team.
Respert. What a picture that was.
They're not giving that young man any easy ones, so he's got to make some difficult ones, and that was really a pretty basket.
Respert with 6, all in the second half. Hill and Marty Clark now joined by Parks, Collins down in the right wing, and Antonio Lang.
Michigan State back to the man-to-man, and as they go back to the man-to-man, Duke goes back to Cherokee Parks.
Eric Snow, Brooks on the right side, kicks it out to Wyszynski. Almost stolen by Clark. Here's Brooks. Nope. Parks with a rebound.
Judd Heathcote, I think, a little upset with his ball club. They didn't execute very well in that situation. Everybody sort of hurried. They caught the ball and felt like they had to do something right now with it, and as a result, Duke's able to get the rebound. Now the Blue Devils, with the 7-point lead, they're going to be content to run some time off the clock.
Shot clock at 10.
Man-to-man.
Little miscommunication between Grant Hill and Chris Collins.
Sean Respert has struggled for opportunities this entire game, but he'll remember this one. That's pretty.
Basketball championship on CBS.
7:18 remaining in regulation. Duke leads by 7 over Michigan State. You know, despite the fact that these two schools both have a wonderful reputation in basketball, this is only the second time they have ever faced each other on the court. The last time, Ike was the president. 1958, the Holiday Classic in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Michigan State won 82-57, one of the few teams that can claim to have a series lead over Duke. Well, I guess a series lead.
That's right.
One game is not a series make.
Is that the singular?
That's right. I knew that Texas Lutheran degree of mine would come in handy someplace.
Garavaglia gets the foul trying to defend Cherokee Parks.
That's the 4th team foul in the second half. 61-54.
Collins has really struggled today. He's only got 2 points, 1 for 6 shooting. It's the story really offensively for Duke has been Grant Hill and Cherokee Parks.
Hill has 21 thus far. Parks has 18. Back to Lang. I think Chris Collins approved.
Most of the time after they score a basket, they bump one another, but Collins, he went past the bump. He was so excited, he went for the hug.
Antonio Lang will have a chance for a 3-point play. Lang into double digits now with 11 points. Anthony Miller comes on for Michigan State.
Without Miller in the basketball game, Michigan State just a little small on the inside. They're able to work the nice play between Parks and Lang's able to get the 3 and has Collins draped around it.
Lead is 10, 6:24 remaining in the ball game. Duke trying to advance to the Sweet 16, and if they do, they will take on Marquette next Thursday night in Knoxville, Tennessee. Respert.
Michigan State that time was running play 2-3 GI, and it resulted in a missed shot. Duke now content to run some time off the clock. This is a tough match for Wyshynski.
Grant Hill. Collins to Lang. Shot clock was at 1 when he took the shot. Lang gets the rebound.
They've got a fresh 35, and Lang, tied up in the corner, calls a timeout.
Time has been called with 5:24 remaining. Michigan State trails Duke by 10.
Soccer?
Don't wear those shirts. You look like a real dork.
Or just too hip?
What are they doing? A footwork drill. It looks like the hokey pokey.
Dave's World, Monday.
Coming tonight on CBS after basketball, we begin with 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then the CBS Sunday movie Ultimate Betrayal. That's tonight. Here's Chris Collins with Antonio Lang, Grant Hill, Marty Clark, and Cherokee Parks. There's a steal by Eric Snow. And Percy Snow's little brother gets the layup. And the lead is 8. 64-56, 5:08 remaining. Turnover, Marty Clark.
And just like that, Mike Krzyzewski gets Jeff Capel up off the bench and gets him back in the game. Capel with 4 personal fouls. Marty Clark, not the main ball handler for the Duke Blue Devils, and just dribbles the ball off his foot out of bounds, and he knows that he made a mistake.
Capel replaces Chris Collins. Here's Snow, finds Respert with Clark in his face. That's for 3. The lead has been cut to 5.
And Duke has to be very careful in trying to run time off the shot clock. They don't want to lose their intensity on the offensive end.
Cherokee Parks works against Miller for position. Here's Clark. Excellent play. Eric Snow. Oh, how quick. Traveled.
The Michigan State bench incensed by that particular call.
I don't think Judd Heathcote is going to find any solace.
Would that be known as demonstrative?
I think so. 4:10 remaining. 66-59. Collins back in the lineup. Capel is out. And Grant Hill goes off the glass for 2.
He just wore Wyshynski out. Wyshynski did everything he could do, just couldn't stay with Grant Hill.
Respert. Oh, nifty.
What an explosion to the basket.
68-61, 3:40 remaining in the ball game.
The Spartans need a defensive stop.
Here's Collins guarded by Bethea. Tries to cut through, and foul is called on Eric Snow. Or it's Bethea instead.
Michigan State doing a nice job with the double team here. Collins with the spin dribble spins himself right into traffic, gets knocked to the floor, gets the foul call. That's only the 16th foul for Michigan State.
Grant Hill, Cherokee Parks, Clark, Capel, and Collins. And for Michigan State, it's Wyshynski, Respert, Anthony Miller, Snow, and Damon Bethea.
Grant Hill just going to dribble the basketball until the shot clock's down to about 12, which is where it is now. Now he's going to attack the basket.
Grant Hill will shoot 2.
It's like a running back moving down a line, probing for an opening, and Grant Hill found one and slid through it and drew the foul.
Well, if he is like a running back, he has a genetic advantage. Dad did a pretty good job of that for a few years in the NFL. Mike Krzyzewski's family is also here. Here's Mickey Krzyzewski. She looks just a little nervous.
a tad concerned.
$25 points for Grant Hill. Respert guarded by Hill. Oh, he's quick. Oh, he is quick.
And Respert really forcing the issue now, but he has to.
Capel saves it. And they just do get across the timeline. Under 2.5 remaining.
A double team against Grant Hill. They want to take the ball out of his hands.
Antonio Lang hammered by Miller.
This ball is going out of bounds, and Jeff Capel saves a Duke turnover. A bad pass by Grant Hill. Capel stays after the basketball, looks and does an entire 360 in the air until he finally finds somebody open and gets it to Grant Hill, who gets it across half court.
That last foul now given to Bethea. He's got 4. 70-63, 2:19 remaining. And the senior Antonio Lang at the free throw line.
At this point in the basketball game, you get a look there at the freshman Jeff Capel, but you have to figure Duke has an advantage because of the fact that they've got such experienced players. Seniors Grant Hill and Marty Clark and Tony Lang on the court right now, along with the junior Cherokee Parks. Oh, and Respert draws the foul.
What a heads-up play.
The Spartan faithful would certainly have wished that that ball would have gone in the basket, but Respert is suddenly extremely aggressive on the offensive end, draws Grant Hill off of him, gives him the fake, then rises up. That's just an excellent offensive play by Sean Respert, recognizing that he's got Grant Hill at the disadvantage, drawing the contact and getting the ball up to the basket.
He had 0 points at the halftime, 13 in this half. This is his first free throw. Coming up Thursday night from Knoxville, Kansas versus Purdue, and out west, Syracuse against Missouri. Also up at Knoxville, Marquette waits for the winner of this game. In one of the 2 games up there. Quentin Brooks ready to check back in now for Michigan State. And Bethea will sit down. 2:12 remaining, 72-65. Parks, Grant Hill. Almost taken away by Eric Snow.
And Duke now going to work some time off the clock. Michigan State wants to foul Capel when he gets the basketball. Telling Snow not to foul Grant Hill. They don't want to foul now. The shot clock's almost expired, and the Michigan State coaching staff really frustrated. They wanted to foul early in the shot clock, and there's Judd Heathcote. That's his reaction to it. With the 35-second shot clock, if you're going to give a foul, you want to foul early, not late. That foul came with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, and you simply don't want to commit the foul at that junction.
Grant Hill at the line, 1-1. Michigan State's Respert has it. Blows by Antonio Lang. Arkansas still leads Georgetown. Minnesota and Louisville are now tied. Respert for 3. Clark way up in the air, foul by Wyszynski.
That was not a good shot by Respert. He's really forcing it now, feels the pressure to get his team back in this basketball game. That shot was a couple of steps beyond the NBA range 3-point shot.
Marty Clark goes to the line. One of 3 seniors playing for Duke. Among the other accomplishments they will take with them when they leave. At least 2 national championships. two daughters, Debbie
and Jamie,
on the left-hand side of your screen.
They're still hoping. It's about all you can do when you're sitting in the stands. In fact, that's about all you can do at this point in the game when you're sitting on the sideline as the coach.
Duke is 16 of 23 from the free throw line. 1:15 remaining. Respert with the basket, and it counted.
that's not only a coach. That's a coach and a dad right there. Doesn't like that call at all.
And Sean Respert has really come back strong in the second half, Dan.
Sean Respert he didn't score well in the first half, but he did a great job getting the ball to open teammates, and he really helped keep Michigan State in the ball game in the first half, but he's taken over down the stretch on the offensive end.
18 points all in the second half for Sean Respert. And Michigan State down by 6. That's potentially 2 possessions if they could stop it, but now Brooks with the foul of Antonio Lang.
And that's a much better fouling sequence by the Michigan State Spartans, because there was only 6 seconds ticked off the 35-second shot clock, and down by 6 with 1 minute and 7 seconds left in the ball game. And with a player like Sean Respert, you need possession of the basketball. So if you don't get the steal right away, get the quick foul.
Antonio Lang at the line shooting 2.
Lang shoots 2. Mom and Dad in the stands.
Mike Krzyzewski very complimentary of the Duke players' parents.
Here comes Eric Snow. 1 minute remaining. Wyszynski, Parks with the rebound. 9 rebounds for Cherokee Parks in the ball game.
Duke bench sensing victory.
Eric Snow. He's got another year left. Damon Bethea's got a couple, just a sophomore. From Michigan State, Chris Wyszynski, the senior. Anthony Miller, a senior, and young man who hasn't played, Eric Coleman.
You can see quite a contrast. There's the Duke bench, and we saw the Michigan State bench previously. That's Garavaglia on the Michigan State bench.
Parks gets them both. He's got 20 points to go along with Grant Hill's 25 and Antonio Lang's 16.
And those hopeful looks in the Duke section have now turned into very confident looks as Cherokee Parks drops in those free throws. Michigan State scores.
Foul on Respert.
12 minutes left in the West Regional at Sacramento. Minnesota 38.
Well, there's
38.
The Duke family and the old hat. Calvin thought he got a pretty good signing bonus when he was the #1 draft choice of the Cowboys out of Yale in '69, but I think his progeny's going to surpass him.
Now, as parents, we would always like our children to do better than we did.
Yeah, but this may take upward mobility to ridiculous extremes. Parks back at the line. He's been perfect there today, 6 of 6. And we are under the 45-second mark. From the corner, Respert. How about that? 21 points in the second half. And Chris Wyszynski guilty of the foul on Jeff Capel. The coordinating producer of NCAA basketball on CBS is Bob Dekas. Today's game was produced by George Veras and directed by Andy Kindle. The coordinating producers of The Road to the Final Four, Eric Mann and David Winter. Directed by Bob Matina. The executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile. And a thanks to our technical crew who had to work only 4 games on Friday and come back for another 2 today. 36 seconds remaining. Hill with 25, Lang with 16, Parks with 22. Jeff Capel gets 1 of 2. Antonio Lang comes down with it. And Duke will go on to meet Marquette next week in Knoxville. That foul on Quentin Brooks. And that's 5 fouls on Brooks.
Smiles all around for the Duke Blue Devils, but no fouls or no smiles on the Spartan bench.
Quentin Brooks, sophomore from Akron. And Mike Krzyzewski's going to empty his bench. Grant Hill is out. Antonio Lang is out. Cherokee Parks will be out, but he's at the free throw line right now. Well, they lost in the second round to Cal last year. That's not something they're accustomed to doing. Chevrolet players of the game. Sean Respert, 24 points for Michigan State, every one of them in the second half. And Grant Hill, who held Respert scoreless in the first half and then accounted for 25 points himself, the senior from Duke. Cherokee Parks will get a rest, and what a big contribution he made in the second half.
Got the ball inside to Cherokee Parks, and Duke started scoring effectively in there at the beginning of the second half, and that really got them turned around offensively. Mike Krzyzewski told his kids not to foul, so the first thing that happens is we get a foul.
At the line, Sean Respert. And Judd Heathcote is going to let all of his reserves in the lineup now as well. Eric Snow leaves. Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller, senior from Benton Harbor, Michigan. Eric Snow, the junior. Damon Bethea.
Fine effort, particularly on the defensive end of the court, but just too many turnovers for Michigan State, and eventually it was much too much to overcome.
Respert gets 1. He's got 1 remaining. David Hart comes into the lineup, and Sean Respert heads to the bench. He's got another year of eligibility left.
And what a great 2 days that he had here in St. Petersburg.
Marty Clark gives off to Jeff Capel. Nice move. Whoa. Carmen Wallace gets 2. David Hart. And this one is over.
Final score, Duke 85 and Michigan State 74.
The Blue Devils of Duke advance. They'll take on Marquette. They win at 85-74 with 3 men in double figures. And it's Duke against Marquette next week in Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, that'll do it for us from St. Petersburg. For Dan Bonner, I'm Vern Lundquist. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, Mark Kellogg coming along when we return. So long.